Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Todd. This is Todd. For today's video, I'm going to be making some pork carnitas. For this, you're going to need 2 pounds of pork shoulder or butt roast, whatever your area might call it. My area calls it a butt roast. And you're going to want your pieces to be about 2 to 3 inches around. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and salt. You're going to need 1 medium onion, and this I just cut in half lengthwise, so from the root to the sprout side, and then I quartered that. You're going to need 1 navel orange, and this is going to be, well, I'll just bring that up later when I'm doing that. You're going to need 3 cloves of garlic and 1 jalapeno. And this is a homegrown jalapeno that I let stay on the plant a little longer so it got ripe. And that just gives a little extra flavor. So to get started, I'm going to move everything off in the back. And I'm going to grab a bigger bowl than my normal bowl. Or I'll just use my square cake pan because it's the first thing I grabbed out of there. And I'm going to go ahead and dump my meat in. And I'm going to rinse this bowl out. And then grab a paper towel and dry that bowl out. And reuse that to mix my seasonings in. Alright, that's dry enough. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just get everything measured in. Now, I think I said 2 teaspoons of the ground cumin. I'm going to go a little lighter on that. So probably 1.5 teaspoons of that. I like ground cumin, but I'm not a fan of a heavy ground cumin flavor, but I'm going to go ahead and keep to my recipe. For the rest of my spices, I'm just going to do a little heaping teaspoon on both of those. For the oregano, my black pepper, and now my salt. And I'm going to just use my fingers to mix this together, as I'm going to be using them anyways to get the meat coated. And I'm just going to kind of spread this out a little bit in an even layer in here. And I'm going to just pour it over the top. And now I'm going to just use my fingers here and massage it into the meat, trying to get every surface coated. Okay, so I'm back, and I went ahead and got my crock pot here, and I'm going to just dump my meat in like that. Kind of spread it around on the bottom. And I am going to go ahead and grab my orange. I'm going to move that off to the back. Get my pepper and everything put away. Okay, so I got my orange cut in half. I really don't like that. That is a lot of pith, but I'm probably gonna grab, no, I'll just throw some orange juice in there. I'm gonna go ahead and just squeeze some of this out as much as I can by hand. Just throw the orange peel and everything in there. just like that. Wipe my hands off. I'm going to go ahead and throw my onion in. And I'm going to crush in my garlic. I got a little peel in there, not that it really matters, but that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm going to go ahead and just crush this in. Just try and disperse that as evenly as possible. And I'm going to wipe my knife off here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the end off of that jalapeno and have it. And I'm going to take the seeds out of one side, and to do that, I am going to grab a spoon and just scrape it out into my sink. I might do both sides, I don't know. But just like that, it's pretty easy. I'll get almost all the seeds out. I'm not going to worry about taking the rest of that membrane out, but I'm going to just go ahead and half those, throw them everywhere, like so. And since that did not have much orange in it, I'm going to grab a little bit of my orange juice out of my fridge. And I like to use this brand. Although I do prefer pulp, but they don't really have it. So I'm going to pour in about half a cup of additional OJ. And I'm also going to add in just a little more salt. I don't really think that was enough. So I'm going to just eye in about another half teaspoon. Just throw that right on top. And this is going to go in my crock pot, just like it is on... Kind of wish they had a medium setting on crock pots, because I would kind of prefer it in between a high and a low for, say, 6.5 hours instead of 5.5 hours or 7.5 hours. But since it don't, I'm probably going to put it on high for about 6 hours. And I'm not looking for this to be fall apart tender. Okay, so I'm back, and I cooked these overnight on high for 6 hours. And if the tops just look a little brown, that's because they were above the liquid in the crock pot. So these are all done, and I got a large skillet over here. I think it's a 12-inch, preheating on medium heat. I'm going to turn up a little later when I add my meat in. I'm going to go ahead and add in about enough to cover the bottom of the pan, for sure. And I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera angle over to my stove. Okay, so I got my oil over here, and I'm going to grab a toothpick right quick, if I can find them. Alright, found them. Quick trick I like to use to make sure my oil is ready is stick a toothpick in it. If the oil around the toothpick starts to bubble, you know it's hot enough. It's a lot better than flicking some water in there, which I do not like to do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys what I'm using for toppings. I got some regular old yellow onion here, some freshly chopped cilantro, and I'm just using key limes. You can use regular limes. The only reason I'm using these is because I zested a couple of them for a key lime pie, which I did a video on that I'm not sure if I'm going to upload before this or not. So Alright, that oil's not quite hot enough yet. And I was going to put some avocado on it, but this avocado is absolutely rock hard. I am squeezing fairly hard right there. So I am not adding that. That's a disadvantage of getting your groceries delivered, I guess. And I am going to be putting these on white tortillas. You can use whatever brand you prefer, or you can make them at home. You can get them from a local Mexican store, whatever. I don't have a local Mexican store, at least to my knowledge. So I just went with some store-bought because, let's be honest, I'm just too lazy today to have the extra hassle of making my own. And you can use a lime crema, which is pretty much just whipped cream. Not whipped cream, sour cream, mixed with lime juice and some other, a couple other things. You can throw in some salsa verde if you want to give it a little spicy kick. Okay, so I don't know if you can pick that up on, if that's being picked up on camera. See if I can zoom in right quick. You see how that's bubbling up around the toothpick? Well, it was. It's not anymore. Let me flip that over. See how that's bubbling up around my toothpick? That oil's hot enough. Let me zoom that back out now. Well, I've never really zoomed in while recording before, so I guess a $1,300 cell phone should have some decent features. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop this in. All of it. And it's going to splatter. And you're looking for crispy edges on this. So I'm going to turn the heat down, as that's splattering just a little too much for my liking. And I'm going to just check these occasionally to make sure they're not getting too crispy or brown or anything. And you're going to want to brown up every single side. So the next thing you're going to need is some sort of sauce. You don't have to use a sauce, but I kind of like this one right here. So that's what I'm going to put on there. I'm not going to need too much. I'm just going to spoon a little bit on top. But these are browning up kind of nicely. Let me zoom in again to show you. But those are browning up pretty nice. Look at, oh yeah. So these are going to get browned on all sides. I'm going to go ahead and just flip these so it's not favoring one side. And I will go ahead and just bring you guys back once this part is all done. Okay, so I pulled my pork carnitas here out, and they're all crispy and everything. And this right here is what I was talking about, as you don't want it too tender. You can see here, they're tender, as I can easily tear it apart. And they're still juicy inside, but yet they're not tender enough that they just completely fall apart when I pick the individual pieces up. But the second I go to just barely even touch that, and it just fell right apart. That's what you're looking for. And the reason you don't want it to fall apart tender is obviously you're going to have to crisp it up right there. So add a little bit of pork on my finger there. But I am going to go ahead and get me a couple tortillas here. And I am going to, that's a little too hot right now, so I'm gonna move this off for a little bit. and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I let that cool down and just let it steam off. I'm going to set that there. And what I'm going to do is take a flour tortilla here, just kind of spread that oil around. And I am using the same oil that I fried the pork carnitas in, as to help impart some flavor into the tortilla too. And I'm going to turn this down really low, probably in between a medium and a low, so a medium low. And I am just looking to fry this for about 45 seconds to a minute. Not really going for a crispy bottom or anything. I'm just looking to warm the tortilla up so it doesn't fall apart when I go to eat it. I'm going to go ahead and grab a plate and set this off to the side right here. And I am going to go ahead and just take this right there off. And that's what I'm going for. Not really anything special. Go ahead and just take 2 little spoonfuls here of some of that oil. Throw that tortilla down. Just spin it around like that. Now, if you don't want to use your hands to do this because it's a little too hot for you, I'm kind of used to doing this. I think my fingers are a little used to some heat, so you can use a pair of tongs if you would prefer, if that would be easier for you. I'm going to turn that heat up just a little bit. But while that's frying there for the moment, I am going to move my crock pot here out of the way so I have a little more room. And I'm going to start shredding my pork. And I'm just going to go in there with my hands and just shred it. Just like this. Nothing special. And as you can tell, it is definitely tender. So and I am probably going to put a little more of the leftover juice that I have over there in with this to just add a little more flavor. I mean, don't get me wrong, the pork has plenty of flavor in it. I'm going to go ahead and check this. Don't want it to burn. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and just add in another 2 spoons. I'm going to say that's about, probably about half a teaspoon worth of oil that not even that, probably a 1/4 teaspoon worth of oil. And I'm just going to shred this and, yeah, probably add a little of that juice from it back in. Alright, that's perfect, right about there. Just find any of the last remaining big pieces. Okay, I'm going to rinse my hands off and grab a bigger spoon. And I'm going to take some of this leftover juice here and just ladle it in like that. About 2 to 3 spoonfuls worth. Just like that. And I'm just going to use this spoon here to mix it up. Alright, check on that. That's perfect right there. Go ahead and add in 2 more spoonfuls. Like so. Throw this in there. Spread the oil around on the bottom of that tortilla. Perfect. And at this point the meat's ready. My toppings are all ready. I prepared that before I started to do anything. So I will go ahead and bring you back when I build one of these tacos up. And also, if you don't want to use corn tortillas, you can use a flour tortilla. I got these because I just was thinking these were going to be a little bigger than they are. These things are absolutely puny. They're like the size of the palm of my hand. So this was a disappointment. Another disadvantage of getting your groceries delivered and not shopping yourself. So I will go ahead and just bring you guys back for the second time when I'm getting ready to build my tacos. Okay, so I'm back. I got all my tortillas fried up, and I did the fried side in. So the unfried side is on the outside. And you can do the fried side on the outside if you would prefer to do it that way. I'm just getting my tortillas all situated here. And I am going to go ahead and just, I don't know why I was situating them. I'm going to grab one tortilla. Just take a little handful of meat. You don't want to go too heavy on this. You still want to be able to fold it up and eat it like a taco. So, and just go ahead and throw that back in. Just throw your meat down like that. And I will say the jalapeno that I added to the crock pot did impart just a little bit of spice into this. So if you would want to go ahead and take the seeds out of that entire jalapeno, you can do that. Or if you prefer not to use the jalapeno, you can omit it. That is up to you. You are your own cook, so if you don't like something, you don't have to use it. So that right there is perfect. I'm going to rinse my hands off and dry them right quick. Throw that towel back there. Now I'm going to grab some of my onion and just put it on. It's quite easy to assemble. I'm going to put a couple of these limes here. I don't think I'm going to use 3, but add onion to all of these. And like I said earlier, you can add whatever you want. If you, forgetting the cilantro. But just add a little pinch of cilantro in there. And if you don't like cilantro, you don't have to use it. So I know some people says it tastes like soap. I, however, love the taste of cilantro. I'm going to rinse that extra off. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some of my salsa cremosa, or whatever, however you say that. Just spoon a little bit of this on each one. Not going overboard. Just enough to lend some creaminess to this. Or some extra moisture, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to squeeze my lime on each one and try and juice as much of it as I can. Alright. And I like to throw some peels in my garbage disposal every now and then, just to keep it a little on the fresh side. And there we go. That right there is pork carnita tacos. So at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and just wrap this video up. If you enjoyed watching this video, go ahead and smash that like button. If you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for coming along with me on this journey of mine.